Good morning, students, and welcome to another exciting lesson on volcanoes. I am Mrs. Francis, and our objectives for today's lesson are as follows. 1. Identify famous volcanoes on a world map. 2. Discuss 5 negative effects of volcanoes. 3. Suggest 4 reasons for people wanting to live near volcanoes. Let's begin with a little true or false trivia. Decide if the statements are true or false. See, you guys are on a ball already. So it is not true. It is the Earth's moon, students, actually have lots of volcanoes. So look at the statement. It says it does not, but actually it does. Earth's moon has several volcanoes. However, none of them right now are active, but there are volcanoes on the moon. So do not let Mrs. Francis trick you. Think about the questions, look at the wording, and then respond. Let's try another one. Volcanoes are named after Vulcan, the Roman god of fire. True or false? You decide. Please on a roll. Yes, you are this time. The answer is true. Volcanoes are named after Vulcan, the Roman god of fire. He was actually a blacksmith. And so people at that time believed that when a volcano erupted, Vulcan, the Roman god of fire, was mad. And so they didn't want to upset him. So they would carry gifts and sacrifices to Vulcan. Let's try another one. Number 3, 80% of volcanoes are found beneath the seabed. Is that true or is it false? True as well. The answer is true. 80% of volcanoes are found beneath the seabed. And remember that most of these volcanoes are found or located in the Pacific Ring of Fire. Let's do one more before we move on. Number 4, you cannot outrun lava because it flows too fast. Is that true or false? What do you think? Type your answer in the, all right. The answer is false. Lava does not flow very fast, even if it's flowing from a steep-sided volcano. So you are actually able to outrun lava if you were in a situation where you had to, all right? So lava flows perhaps at about 30 kilometers per hour. So you are able to outrun it. Here are some famous volcanoes that have erupted in history. Mount St. Helens, Mount Pelee, Mount Vesuvius, and Fuji. Yes, that's the last one. So we have Mount St. Helens, Mount Pelee, Mount Vesuvius, and Mount Fuji. Now, throughout history, these volcanoes have had devastating eruptions, and they have impacted the physical and human environments. So in today's lesson, we are going to look primarily at the effects of these volcanoes. Let's start with a little map work. Look at the map below and identify the famous volcanoes shown. Students, please, G, that is correct, students. Number 1 is showing you Mount Fuji. Let's look at number 2 on the map. Which volcano is being shown by the number 2 on the map? Please type your answer correct. It's actually showing you Vesuvius. Vesuvius is a mountain found in Italy. So look carefully at the map. Notice it is pointing to that little landform that looks like a boot. So that is Italy. So number 2 is showing you Mount Vesuvius, which is in Italy. So remember, we have to sharpen those map skills, students. Let's look at number 3. What is number 3 pointing to? Which volcano is indicated on the map by the number 3? Mount Pelee. Excellent job, students. That is indeed Mount Pelee. So it means that number 4 is Mount St. Helens, which is located in the United States. Excellent job, students. So number 1, let's review that on the map. That is Mount Fuji. Number 2 is Vesuvius. Number 3 is Mount Pelee. And number 4 is Mount St. Helens. Excellent job. This photograph shows a beautiful picture of Mount St. Helens. Mount St. Helens is located in the Cascade Mountain Range in Washington State in the United States. Remember that it had a violent eruption in 1980. And during this violent eruption, there were some tragedies. Yes, around 57 people lost their lives during the eruption of Mount St. Helens. Additionally, the volcano spewed lots of ash and lava and created a huge ash cloud that covered the entire continental United States. The volcano's lava destroyed many homes and property. The surrounding forest was impacted and vegetation. So this famous volcano had a violent eruption in 1980. Mount St. Helens last erupted in 2008. This volcano is known to the Native American Indians as Luit, the Lady of Fire. So that is Mount St. Helens. Let's look at this photograph showing you a beautiful picture of Mount Pelee. Remember, Mount Pelee is located on the Caribbean island of Martinique. And in our previous lesson, we looked at the Eastern Caribbean, also called the Lesser Antilles, that have many, many volcanoes. So Mount Pelee is located in the Eastern Caribbean. It erupted in 1792 as well as in 1851. However, in 1902, Mount Pelee had a catastrophic eruption on the island of Martinique. Over 30,000 people were killed during this time, and lava spewed into the nearby settlement and destroyed the port of Martinique. Today, however, Mount Pelee, as you see in the photograph, is covered by beautiful, lush green forest. It is a popular tourist attraction on the island of Martinique. It last erupted in 1932. Next, you see a beautiful picture of Mount Fuji, also known as Fuji-san in Japan. Mount Fuji is the tallest mountain in Japan. It is over 12,380 feet tall. Mount Fuji is also one of Japan's 3 sacred mountains. Each year, more than 200,000 people climb Mount Fuji. So it is the most climbed mountain in the world. Mount Fuji is a compilation of 3 volcanoes piled on top of each other. The youngest at the top is actually Mount Fuji. So remember, it's a combination of 3 volcanoes piled on top of each other. Next, you see a beautiful picture of Mount Vesuvius. Mount Vesuvius overlooks the city of Naples in Italy. This volcano is estimated to be around 17,000 years old. So students, it's been around for a very long time. Mount Vesuvius had a famous eruption that is known throughout history. That occurred in 79 AD. When Vesuvius erupted in 79 AD, the people at the time were not prepared. So as a result, thousands of people died from this volcanic eruption. And the city, the Roman city of Pompeii, was buried as a result. And it was buried for a very long time before archaeologists unearthed this city. Vesuvius has erupted about 50 times during the last 200 years. It last erupted in 1944 during World War II. Today, Vesuvius is a tourist attraction, and it was made into a national park in 1995. It overlooks Naples, and people have now been allowed to climb this volcano. I am going to now show you a clip from the movie Pompeii. And if you've seen this movie, you would remember that it featured the eruption of Mount Vesuvius. As you watch the video clip, students, I would like for you to write down 2 disadvantages of the eruption of volcanoes. So pay close attention to what is happening in the video. Students, you've seen some of the effects of volcanic eruptions. So, what are some disadvantages of volcanoes on the physical and human environments? Please, what are the negative effects of volcanoes on the physical and human environments? Let's take a look at these. For the physical environment, you guys hit the nail on the head. Volcanoes can destroy forests and vegetation. Volcanoes can cause a loss of crops or disrupt agricultural activities. Damaris, you said it, volcanoes can pollute the air. Volcanoes can also block lakes and rivers, causing flooding. Additionally, volcanoes can also cause earthquakes to occur. Volcanoes can also create mud flows or mudslides. So there are many disadvantages of volcanoes on the physical environment in which we live. Let's look at some of the human impacts of volcanoes. They can cause deaths, and many of you indicated that. Volcanoes can also cause injuries to people. They can destroy homes and cause people to become homeless. Additionally, volcanoes can cause respiratory problems for people, especially those individuals who have things like asthma or any other respiratory underlying ailment. So you did an excellent job, very good. These are all some of the negative, or what we can say, disadvantages of volcanic eruptions. Here I have provided you with some photographs of the negative effects or the disadvantages of volcanoes. In the upper left corner, you see a photograph showing you how a volcano has destroyed the homes of some individuals. Notice that the hot lava flow has caused or created fires, which have in turn destroyed the homes of the people nearby. The photograph on the top right-hand corner shows a huge ash cloud. And so this, again, is another disadvantage of volcanoes, because the air will now become polluted. And it makes it very difficult for individuals to breathe at this time. The photograph at the bottom left corner of your screen shows the effects of lava flows. Notice how the surrounding forest and vegetation have been destroyed as a result of the hot lava flow. Yes, DeLon, you said pyroclastic flow. Excellent, you are correct. And the photograph at the bottom right-hand corner of your screen shows lava flows destroying roads and actually blocking them, making them impassable. So these are some of the disadvantages of volcanic eruptions. Here, this photograph is showing you again the destruction of home and property as a result of a volcano's eruption. And this picture shows a mudslide, which is another disadvantage of volcanoes. Excellent job, students. I hope that these photographs give you a great visual of some of the destructive elements of volcanoes. Now, around 3 million people live near Mount Vesuvius in Naples, Italy. Can you think of any reason why so many people choose to live near a volcano? Because they're so destructive when they erupt. But why do people continue to live near volcanoes? Please, Excellent job. So, why do people continue to live near volcanoes? This means that there must be some positive advantages or effects of volcanoes. Yes, everything that you guys wrote in the chat is correct. Positive effects of volcanoes. One, volcanoes create new land. Remember, students, when a volcano erupts and the lava pours out, that lava is essentially liquid rock. And so when it solidifies or when it cools and hardens, new land is created. So that is a good thing. It's a positive effect of a volcano. This photograph shows you some rich, dark soil. And one of you mentioned this, that volcanoes produce fertile soil, excellent soil for growing crops. The volcanic ash, when it falls onto the ground, onto the land, it provides nutrients for the soil. And the nutrients help to grow crops because the soil is full of all of that good nutrients and vitamins for the crops. In fact, in places like Colombia, the persons near the volcanoes there, they grow coffee in the volcanic soil. And that coffee is rich and dark, just like the soil. Tourist attractions. One of you also mentioned this, that volcanoes are tourist attractions. And so people therefore continue to live next to the volcano, because if it's a tourist attraction, it will bring revenue to the residents of the area. And it will provide jobs, tourist-related jobs for these individuals. So in the photograph here, you see tourists just sitting down and they're just looking at this spectacular feature, this volcanic feature in the background. So that is a positive effect of a volcano or an advantage of a volcano. It's the tourist attraction. Next, volcanoes are used for research and educational purposes. So this is also another advantage of volcanoes. You have students who can study them, and you have scientists, volcanologists, who do research on these spectacular features, learning more about them each and every day so that they can in turn educate us. So volcanoes are used for research and educational purposes. Here is a picture of some beautiful minerals. The volcano, when it erupts, it gives rock that have precious minerals in the rock. And oftentimes, mining companies would set up around the volcano in order to harvest these precious minerals. So volcanic eruptions are positive in that precious minerals are generated as a result. It's very good. Geothermal energy is a renewable form of energy, a clean form of energy. And areas that have volcanoes have geothermal energy. In fact, in Iceland, their capital uses geothermal energy, okay? And so electricity is produced in Iceland using this form of energy, of clean energy. So that is a positive effect of a volcanic eruption or of having volcanoes nearby. Well, students, it's review time. Let's see what you remember, what you have learned. Answer the following questions from today's lesson. What was Mount St. Helens called by the Native American Indians, called Mount St. Helens Luit, the Lady of fire. Excellent job, students. Do a funky dance. Let's look at question 2. Which volcano is climbed the most throughout the world? Boys and girls, Mount Fuji is the volcano that is climbed the most throughout the world. Excellent job. You guys are on a roll. Number 3. Give the name of the volcano that erupted and buried the city of Pompeii. Give the name of the volcano that erupted and buried the city of Pompeii. You all got it correct. Mount Vesuvius erupted, remember, in 79 AD and buried the Roman city of Pompeii. Excellent job. Correct. Now I have a bonus question for you. What is the name of the volcano found on Mars? Yes, students, there's a volcano on Mars. What is its name? You all are correct. Give yourselves a pat on the back. You are doing an awesome job today. The answer is Olympus Mons. So that is a volcano found on Mars. Well, students, we have come to the end of today's lesson. However, I want you to do a little assignment for me. So I have provided you with 2 volcanoes, Mount Kilauea and Mount Krakatoa, and your assignment is to complete those 4 questions on those 2 volcanoes, based on those 2 volcanoes. So that is the first worksheet. The other worksheet is this one here that is called Volcanoes, Facts, or Fiction. So in this assignment, you are required to read the 7 statements there and to categorize them as either a volcanic fact, or if it's fiction, then you write it under the column that says fiction. Well, students, those are your 2 assignments, as well as the extended assignment where you are required to research 4 facts regarding the volcano Olympus Mons. That is all the time we have for today. You all have been awesome. I am Mrs. Francis. It was a pleasure having you in my class today. Remember that we have now come to the end of the topic of volcanoes. Please stay safe and stay focused. Have a great day, everyone.
Welcome to Persuasive Writing. My name is Miss Barrow. Today, we will focus on the structure of persuasive writing and how to use emotion in your writing to persuade. First, let's have a look at the lesson objectives. After watching this lesson, you will be able to explain the purpose of persuasive writing, use emotion to persuade the audience, and construct a sentence hook, statement of opinion, reason, and closing sentence for persuasive writing. First, let's watch this video on persuasive writing.
Persuasive writing is a type of opinion writing. Your opinion is what you think, feel, or believe about something. To persuade means to convince. When we persuade someone, we want to convince them of something.
People People use persuasive writing to stand for or against an issue. The writer's job is to convince the audience to believe something or to take action. Media used to convince the audience include the radio, television commercials, newspapers, magazines, and much more can be used to persuade your audience. The writer may wish to persuade the audience in one of three ways: emotions, character, and reason. Today, we will focus our attention on persuasion through emotional appeal. Let's have a look at this video. In persuasive writing, emotional appeal is the use of emotion to persuade. The purpose for emotional appeal is to get the audience to listen with their feelings and not the mind. This convinces them to make a decision. Some phrases or words used to evoke emotions are I think, I believe, amazing, ecstatic, dangerous, crushed, beautiful, and foolish. These examples and many more may evoke emotions such as pity, fear, anger, and excitement, which can cause your audience to share the same view and take action. To appeal to animal lovers, the writer may use pity to evoke compassion to convince the audience to adopt a dog. The fear of danger to life, health, or property may convince you not to leave a child in the car. Anger appeal can make the audience want to take action, such as cleaning up the environment. Or excitement appeal, which can make you want to spend some money. So whether you're writing for a friend, your teacher, a parent, or even a complete stranger, it's important to know your audience so that you can write to appeal to their emotions. A good persuasive essay has a hook, statement of opinion, reason, and concluding sentence. Sentence hooks are used to grab the reader's attention. Let's have a look at some examples. The first is feeling or emotion. Excessive homework can lead to burnt-out students. You can also start with questions. Have you ever thought about why we have homework? What's the point? And then there's repetition. No, no, no! Homework is stressful and should not be given on weekends. Does this look familiar? Onomatopoeia. Ring. The bell ringing signals that school is dismissed, but it sucks because I'm rushing home to do homework. You can also use a hyperbole. Just thinking about homework on weekends makes my brain explode. Or even a metaphor. Education is your passport to the future. Let's play Name That Hook. This is where you get to determine the type of sentence hook used. Identify whether it's a simile, repetition, hyperbole, question, metaphor, or an onomatopoeia. Here's our prompt. Should children be allowed to drive cars? Would you put your precious life in the hands of a clueless 5-year-old driver? Choose the answer from the bottom. Is it a simile, repetition, hyperbole, question, metaphor, or an onomatopoeia? If you said that the sentence hook is a question, awesome job. Crash, boom, bam. That's what Max heard after he allowed his 12-year-old behind the wheel of his brand new Mercedes-Benz. All right, select your answer. I bet you said onomatopoeia. Awesome job. How about this one? Placing car keys in a child's hands is like playing with fire. What's the answer? Yes, a simile. Here's the next one. No, no, no. Letting children drive vehicles on the streets is absolutely insane. Come on, what's the answer? Yes, repetition. Good job. How about this? Minors swerving down the streets of Nassau is pure hell. Our answer? Metaphor. Let's try one more. The world will end if kids are allowed to drive behind the wheel of a car. Yes, the answer is hyperbole. In persuasive writing, after the sentence hook comes the statement of opinion. A statement of opinion is when the writer takes a stance for or against something. In other words, the writer gives their point of view on the subject. Let's take a look at some examples. I think it's dangerous to teach a 9-year-old to cook. In this example, the writer is taking a stance against children cooking in the kitchen. Summer camps should be mandatory for bullies. Again, the writer is taking a stance against bullying. And the last one, I believe it is important for students to have a break from school. The writer is taking a stance for breaks for students. Here's where you get to determine if the sentence is for or against something. If you think this sentence is for something, you will put your thumbs up. If not, thumbs down if you think it's against. Here's the first sentence, and it's about junk food in school. The time has come to stop junk foods from being sold in school. Thumbs up or thumbs down? Yes, thumbs down. You have taken a stance against junk food. Good job. Let's take a stance for prefect nomination. Rihanna will make a great president for the prefect club. Vote for Riri. Is the sentence taking a stance for or against? Thumbs up. Yes, it's for. Here's an interesting one. Texting and driving. Texting while driving should be against the law. Thumbs up or thumbs down? Indeed, thumbs down. Take a stance against texting and driving. Great job. Let's look at citizenship. Citizenship should be a legal right for everyone born in the Bahamas. What stance does this writer take? Yes, for citizenship. Once you've taken your stance, it's important to give your reasons as to why you agree or disagree with something. Your reason can be compassion-based. If the kittens do not have food to eat, they will starve. You don't want the kitty to starve, do you? Of course not. That's an emotional reason. Another reason is the appeal of fear. Installing security bars will make sure that you are safe from criminals when you go to work. Let's say you're trying to persuade someone to purchase a product. In this case, you can use the appeal of vanity. Using Head and Shoulder shampoo will make your hair shiny and healthy. This gives flattery to win the customer over to purchase the product. Now you will get a chance to practice writing a sentence using opinionated reasons. The topic given is junk food in schools. Write a sentence to say why you would disagree with junk food in schools. Pause the video and start now. When you are done, press play. Welcome back. I'm sure that you did a great job. Here's my sentence. I am certain that eating junk food makes you look unattractive. Let's try the next sentence. You will now write a sentence stating why you would be in favor of having cell phones in the classroom. Start now. Welcome back. Here's my sentence. I believe cell phones help to make learning more interesting. This time, write a sentence against smoking. Remember, use an opinion. Stop the video and start now. When you're done, press play. Was your reason similar to mine? Everyone knows that smoking makes you look old fast. The final piece of the puzzle is making sure that you have a strong closing sentence. This confirms your stance or point of view. It can help to convince your audience to support a cause or to take action. Here's an example. This supports a cause. Please support my soccer team by sponsoring us to travel for competition. Let's look at another example. If you want to remain safe on the streets of Nassau, buckle up. Here, the writer makes a final attempt to convince drivers and passengers to wear their seatbelts for safety. Let's wrap up. Remember that persuasive writing may be used to convince someone to believe what you believe or to take action. A strong persuasive piece should have a sentence hook, statement of opinion, reasons, and a concluding sentence to support your view. That's all for now. See you next week for another lesson on persuasive writing. Bye-bye.